legacy of the sportsman is fading. And traditions are being lost. We are not just meant to live on this earth, but we are to subdue it, have dominion over it. To preserve the sport of hunting, pass on traditions to the youth. That is our legacy. The legacy of the hunting grounds.
The Hunting Grounds is brought to you by Lucky Buck, Everett Chevrolet of Northwest Arkansas, SJF Productions, Rhino Outdoors, Eagle Seed, Antler Dirt, Shaybug Design, and Hook, Line, and Sinker Outdoors.
Welcome back to the Hunting Grounds. On this week's episode, we're going to go with Tanner, one of our youth hunters, as he tries to go after his first deer, and he's going to try to take it with a bow. And you'll not want to miss this week's management moment as we talk about the most important thing you can do to keep the deer on your property year-round.
On my 12th birthday, I got a longbow because I've always wanted a bow and I've always liked archery. And then in a baseball game later on, I hit a home run and my mom said she'd buy me a bow for it. I practiced with my bow every day and I finally got the opportunity to hunt with my older brother in the fall. So after Tanner got his bow and got in lots of practice, I had faith that he could make a good shot on a deer. So we planned a day to get out in the woods and neither one of us could wait to get out there. We woke up late that morning, but we decided to give it a try before we went out to church. So we got up in the stand and we didn't have any way of knowing what time it was because both of our phones were dead. And it wasn't before too long that we saw does moving. That's when I spotted my deer. I didn't know if he was going to present a shot or not, and it seemed like it took forever.
And now time for the Dig-In 365 management moment.
Deer season's coming to an end, and a lot of you guys are thinking about what you can do to manage your property for this upcoming season. Well, I guarantee a lot of you are thinking food plots, and what I want to do is show you the most important thing you can do to your property to keep the deer there year-round. Now, what we like to do with any one of our properties, we like to look at it and look at how we can improve that habitat overall on the property before we go in and start putting food plots and other food sources in there. And one of the most important things we like to do on our properties, whether it be big or small, is we like to have areas in there that are sanctuaries, areas we don't hunt and we don't disturb all year round. That way the deer know they can feel safe there, and it's going to keep the deer on your property. First thing we like to do is we like to go in and find these areas that we know the deer are already traveling or they're already bedding in, and we like to go in and improve the habitat in those areas. And what you want to do when you find these areas is go in there and do a select timber cut. And what you're essentially doing is you're opening up the canopy and allowing that sunlight to penetrate down through, and it's going to promote a lot of growth and make that area a lot thicker for deer. And the great thing about it is you're going to have a lot of lower vegetation, which is pretty much a year-round food plot, and you're going to have a great bedding area. And once you find these areas, you can follow the whole tree itself. Just cut it down, let it lay, and it promotes a lot of good bedding for the deer in that area, and it allows other plants and species to grow up around it. But what we like to do, especially if we're going to be burning a year or two down the road, we like to top kill them. And pretty much what you do is you take the chainsaw, depending on how big the tree is, depends on how far in you cut, but you're going to cut through that cork cambium, and you're going to disrupt that xylem and phloem, which transports the water and the nutrients up the tree. Now if you do this during the winter time like we do, all the nutrients are stored down the roots, and so you're just top killing it. When spring comes around, a lot of these are pioneer species, and they're going to be quick to grow, and you're going to have a lot of sprouts come out of that root system, and especially trees like this sassafras are going to have a 4-foot growth coming out of it, and that's a lot of lush green leaves. That's a great food source for the deer, and it promotes a lot of great bedding area there as well. Now behind us is one of these areas that we top killed a few years ago. Went in with the chainsaw, we cut around the trees, and we came in and we burned. Now I can't stress the importance is if you're going to burn, just top kill the trees, because if you let them lay down on the ground and you go through and you burn, you're going to have a really hot burn. You're going to do a lot more destruction than you are good. But if you just top kill them, go through and do a cool burn, you're going to promote a lot of good plant species that grow up in there. And again, you're going to have a great food source that's there year round. Having these thick sanctuary areas on your property, I think, is one of the most important things you can do to any piece of property, because what you're doing is you're ensuring that there's a year-round food source there, and there's an area that the deer always feel safe. So be sure to find one of these areas on your property and get to work.
Got him. Got him. Right on the shoulder. That's a lot of dead deer.
And you can tell Tanner got excited because when that deer started coming in, the whole tree started shaking.
Shaking in the stand. Yeah, I can feel that right now. Shaking the whole trees. Alright, a deer just came in. He walked. I don't know how far away, but then he came back, then he went away again, then he came back, and he came in between those two trees over there. And he was only like 15 yards away, and he let me take a really good shot. I shot him, and it looks like it hit pretty low, right behind the shoulder. But all we know is he's dead. We're gonna go look for him in a few minutes, but this will be my first deer too. It's been a good hunt.
Now we normally wouldn't take a button buck, but our goal is to get kids out and get their first deer and get them hooked on hunting.
Hey Tanner, look right there.
Obviously, I was just a little excited, but I was thankful that I had the opportunity to take my first deer, and I was happy I got that under my belt, and I'm ready for next year.
Well, wasn't it great to see a youth get out there, get his first deer, and let alone with a bow? Hats off to you, Tanner. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, be sure to go out of your way to get a new youth or a new hunter involved in the outdoors, and as always, have a better than average day.
To learn more about the hunting grounds, be sure to check out our Facebook page and our website at thehuntinggrounds.com. And be sure to follow us at Twitter at THG TV.
Music for the hunting grounds is provided by Brian Matthew Ellis.
What now?
That one? Yep.
I can't. We woke up late that morning.
Boom, I heard it.
One of the most important things that you can... Phone, I heard it!
So, Rad. Can you use any of that?
You want to be careful if you are going to learn.
I think I said everything I was supposed to, just weird. Are you recording me? Shut it off.